Hi students. Let's go back to what we started yesterday. We started with the vocab building and we have something to do just to revise the words that we started. Now in the vocabulary section we took 8 words. Now I'm going to show you the same pictures that we took yesterday. We are going to match between the words and the pictures, and then the assignment that I gave you yesterday, which was to think about other examples using the words that we have. So here, let's start in alphabetical order. The first one is asset. So just try to remember which one was associated with the word asset. Something that is valuable, that you own, or an organization in general. So from the pictures here, we can say that assets is, yes, houses, cars, money. We have also the example, the kingdom of Saudi Arabia is blessed with many rich assets. The other word, comply with. So we have here the 2 words, comply with. Comply with, if you can, also just remember yesterday when we said about Mr. Al-Ahmed and his workers, that they comply with what he plans or what he wants. So we have here, comply with, yes, with the workers. And the example, the people of Saudi Arabia comply with the country's rules. They do or they follow the country's rules. We have also dispute. And from the beginning, dispute, D-I-S, it can remind you of another word that is associated with it. So dispute, we said it's a kind of disagreement. So we have here, this is the word dispute. And we have our example, as Muslims, we obey and follow our religion in all our matters, even in solving disputes. And just to note here, disputes here is a noun. Yesterday we took it as a verb. So dispute as a word, it can be used as a noun or as a verb, meaning a problem, an obstacle. So here, this is something just to put in mind. We have the word also, endowment. Endowment, we said it's some kind of a part of money, or it's a monthly payment that is given. It doesn't have to be monthly, maybe yearly, that is given to an organization, a charity. So we have here the word endowment goes, yes, with this picture. Now, for example, we have here, do you know Al-Awqaf? Al-Awqaf is a governmental organization that is specialized in endowments. We have also the word founder. Now, founder here is connected with a person or people. The founder, from the word find. So he started the thing. We have here the word founder. And our example, King Abdulaziz Al Saud is the founder of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. After that, we have here the word hurdle. And from the pronunciation hurdle, something hurry. So we can say that hurdle here is the one next to it. And before the example, we have the other word, implement. We have here the 2 pictures left. Implement, remind yourself of the word plan, because people, they always implement what is planned. Also implement, it can be used as a verb or as a noun. And we have our example for the 2 words. We faced many hurdles when schools started online learning, but we implemented new systems to achieve the best results. So we implemented, we did something that was planned to give or to have better results. And the last one, from the photo, here the cameraman, We have here, they are following, or they are taking photos of someone who is renowned or famous, we can say. Now we can say, for example, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is a renowned figure worldwide. So maybe you also would think, what is the difference between renowned and the word famous? Renowned is higher level. It is a higher level that is more formal than using the word famous. So this is the difference between the words. So these are the 8 words that we have here in the vocab building. Now going to rags to riches again, we have here, we're going to start with the reading. As I told you yesterday, that our reading is going to be about Sheikh Sulaiman al-Rajhi, and we talked about him. Before starting with Sheikh Sulaiman, we have our learning objectives, which are list some of Sheikh Sulaiman al-Rajhi's accomplishments, analyze his work in different periods of his life, answer questions, scan for information and words. So we have here, before starting in the book, there are 2 main questions. Now, if you remember in the intro, when we first started, we talked about Sheikh Sulaiman al-Rajhi, and I told you to read about him more. And also, when we had our beginning in Unit 2, the discussion, we had many different personalities, and also we said that we would reach Sheikh Sulaiman. He is one of the figures that started from rags to riches. So the 2 questions that we have are, what do you know about Sheikh Sulaiman al-Rajhi? And now we have an idea about Sheikh Sulaiman al-Rajhi. We have also the other question, what do you think matters to him most? So put yourself inside his shoes, or in his shoes, and just think, what do you think is the most important matters that he is thinking about, or what does he care about most? We are going to read different things about Sheikh Sulaiman al-Rajhi. So in your book, please, you are going to start in your books, but before, let's just so yes, okay. Here we have these parts are the same as I gave you yesterday, the same parts. This is what we said when we said that we know something about him. Just to revise very quickly, and these are from your reading passage. We said that Sheikh Sulaiman bin Abdulaziz al-Rajhi, the world-renowned philanthropist and winner of the 2012 King Faisal International Prize for service to Islam, has not always been a billionaire. So everybody knows that he is now a billionaire, or he's rich, but before he was not. Another thing, they were granted, they, who? Sheikh Sulaiman, and who was granted with him. So they were granted permission to establish a bank, the Al-Rajhi Bank, which complied with religious tenets such as a ban on interest. So there is someone with him. Founding the bank, which is now the world's biggest Islamic lender, was not hurdle-free. And now you know what is the meaning of hurdle. Eventually, the banking system he proposed was launched in Saudi Arabia and subsequently implemented in the United Kingdom. So there is some kind of relation between Saudi Arabia and the United Kingdom, which is Britain. Sheikh Sulaiman bin Abdulaziz al-Rajhi is always also chairman of the National Agricultural Development Company and founder of Al-Wataniya Agricultural Project, which means that besides Bank al-Rajhi, there are 2 things now, which are the National Agricultural Development, and he is the founder. We said that King Abdulaziz is the founder of Saudi Arabia. Sheikh Sulaiman, he is the founder of Al-Wataniya. Okay, so we have here Al-Wataniya Agricultural Projects. During his lifetime, al-Rajhi distributed the rest of his wealth to his children in order to avoid potential disputes. And also, you know the meaning of disputes, which we said that it is disagreement. So he didn't want this for his children. He gave his money. over inheritance, of course, that could destroy kinship and harmony among them, having experienced extreme poverty. So he wasn't just poor, he experienced extreme poverty. We have the adjective poor, and the noun is poverty. Ar-Rajhi chose to donate and distribute all his assets to gain peace of mind and inner happiness. We'll get back to this again. We'll see here. Now, in your book, before we start with the book, we have here also this part. These are the same things, but we have the technique of 3, 2, 1. First of all, we have 3 points that we know now about him, which is what? He won international prizes, established many projects, distributed his assets and fortune during his lifetime. Now we know these. 2 interesting things that we know, that he was poor. And another thing, that establishing the bank wasn't hurdle-free. It wasn't easy. Number 1 is connected with you. Something that you want to know about him. Something that you are wondering about Sheikh Sulaiman. So that's why we said, if you were Sheikh Sulaiman, what would you care about? Now, going to your book, page 26, and we have also page 27. You have, of course, the title Sheikh Sulaiman Rajhi. And we have here the number of paragraphs. Just scan quickly, so you would know how many ideas that we have. We are going to start part by part. Now, these are the 2 first paragraphs. We have the table, so we are quickly going to go and see what are the basic points that we have in the reading. Starting with 3 words describing Sheikh Sulaiman al-Rajhi. So instead of just reading very quickly, just scan and look for 3 words that describe Sheikh Sulaiman al-Rajhi from the beginning. 3 words. So from the start, we can say that the word that we learned yesterday, which is renowned, following with philanthropist, and also he was a winner. After that, we have a prize he won, was the prize that we said before, which is King Faisal International Prize for service to Islam. And then the birth. What year was he born? So just look for the date. The date, of course, is going to be 1929. His brother's name. So when he said that they started the bank, meaning that we have Sheikh Sulaiman and his brother. What's the name of his brother here? His brother is Saleh. And the beginning of their business. So how? How did they begin the business? They have Bank al-Rajhi. So how did they start Bank al-Rajhi? The beginning of the bank was simply changing money for pilgrims. So the pilgrims that were moving on between the cities of Mecca and Al-Medina, the Rajhi brothers, they used to change money for these pilgrims. This is the very start. Moving on. Now in the table, we have here, when did their business expand? So it's a business to exchange money. We have 2 things. I want the date and the event that time. So they started their business, which we have the date in the 1970s. The event that time was during the oil boom in Saudi Arabia, the beginning of the oil boom. They started their business. Who did Ar-Rajhi brothers help? They helped someone. Ar-Rajhi brothers, they helped someone else besides the pilgrims. So they helped migrant workers, the workers that were there at that time. They helped them. Why? If you can just see the line after that we have here, to send their earnings home. So they helped the workers to send their money or their earnings back home to their families. Another meaning, like they were allowed. So when they started thinking about the bank, they were allowed. I want another word besides they were allowed? Just look for the idea of a bank here. You can find it. And we have here, they were granted permission to establish a bank. Go ahead. They were granted permission. It's the same thing as saying that they were allowed to open a bank. A country, we have here actually 3 countries. We have, of course, Saudi Arabia and 2 more countries. You can see that we have here Indonesia and Pakistan. What was special about Al-Rajhi Bank? Why is Al-Rajhi Bank different from the other banks? You can see at the end, we have here which complied with religious tenets, such as a ban on interest, no interest. That's what makes it special. Moving on. Here in this part, we want to describe the bank's founding process. We said it many times now. Was it an easy thing to do to open a bank? No. How do you know? From the word that we learned yesterday, you can say that it was not hurdle-free. Why did he open an office in Britain? So this is the association or the connection between Saudi Arabia and Britain. Why? Why did he open an office in Britain? So just look for the word Britain here. And you can see that Sulaiman al-Rajhi began by opening an office in Britain to introduce the Islamic banking system on a more international basis. So he was known that he introduced the Islamic law in banking on international basis. After that, we have the synonym for a first. So instead of saying the first step or the first thing, instead of it, we can say the word initial, his initial or his first attempts. Were they successful for him and his brother? We can just read here and say his initial attempts to secure a banking license were unsuccessful. So this is why we say that it was not hurdle-free. It wasn't easy. So because their attempts were not successful at the beginning to open the bank. And we have the question, 2 things British officials were not aware of. 2 things they did not know, they were not aware of, which are the principles and requirements of Islamic banking. As a European country, a non-Muslim country, they do not know the laws of Islamic banking. Moving. Now in this part, the banking system was launched in a country. Following that, we have here and was subsequently implemented in. So we have here, let's just look in another country. We can see the 2 words, implemented and launched. Just look here. Yes, you are going to find launched in Saudi Arabia. And we have here, it was implemented in the United Kingdom. Something forbidden in Islam. So going back to the Islamic law and banking, because there is something which is forbidden, which is, go back to the beginning, you can find the word interest. And 2 things people used to keep at home. Because banking, they were afraid that it was something that is not based on Islamic laws. People used to leave 2 things at home. They didn't put in a bank, which are, just see the people, what did they leave at home? You can find here, yes, so you can find it. Keep their cash and valuables at home. Okay, now we're done with the bank part. Moving on, we said that he did other things. Sheikh Sulaiman al-Rajhi is chairman of the National Agricultural Development Company and the founder, like when I said King Abdulaziz, the founder of Al-Wataniya Agricultural Projects. Describe how al-Rajhi felt when he visited a farm abroad. So he went to a farm in another country. Now you know that he was the founder of Al-Wataniya. So you are going to know why. Why did he move from banking to الوطنية farm or the الوطنية project? Because when he went to the farm in another country, we want a description. How did he feel? So he felt shocked. He was shocked. Why did he feel that way? Why was he shocked? By the improper way chickens were fed and slaughtered. So he saw that they were not fed and slaughtered correctly based on Islamic basis. So what kind of farm project did he launch? He started to launch the poultry farm project. And why? Why would he move from banking to a farm? Making sure that chickens were naturally fed. This is number one. And halal, slaughtered according to Islamic tenets. This is number two. What did he support? Look for the word support here. You will find that he supported organic farming. I want a word meaning make less. So moving on, he supported organic farming throughout the Middle East, intent on securing healthy food for all as means of fostering good health, preventing illness, and consequently reducing. Reduce means what? Making less. So what did he reduce? Reducing the cost of medical treatment to make it less. And we have other project areas. So now we know that he started with his brother exchanging money for pilgrims. He helped workers. They opened a bank. They had two famous foundations or organizations started, including the Wataniya farming. Also, he did something else, which is what other project areas were: real estate and investment projects. He went in real estate also and investment projects. 3 words departments in the Sulaiman al-Rajhi University. So also what did he do? He established a university that had 3 basic departments, which are, it's short, we can find medicine, nursing, and applied science. Yes, in the university, we can find that there are 2 words describing Sheikh Sulaiman al-Rajhi's foundation. So after the university, we can see that there is a foundation which is abbreviated SAAR. And here, this foundation, it is described as 2 words. We have here charitable, and it was one of the largest foundations. What does SAAR now own? Look for the abbreviation. And what does it own now? You will know that it now owns and controls more than half of Sulaiman al-Rajhi's wealth. Half of his wealth is controlled by this organization. The 2 main actions of the foundation worldwide, they do 2 things worldwide. We can see that they organize and they oversees a substantial number of charities and humanitarian advocacy activities worldwide. Okay, now we talked about endowments here. So what happened in May 2011? In May 2011, Sulaiman al-Rajhi announced that he was donating most of his 7.7 billion fortune to charity. 7.7 billion. He gave it to charity. And also, we have here, he gave the rest of his wealth to his children. Why? Which is our second question. Why did he distribute his wealth? In order to avoid potential disputes over inheritance. He did not want his family to break up because of the money. So he distributed all his money in his lifetime. The antonym of save. So he wanted to do something to save his family from this dispute. the antonym, the opposite of save, is the word destroy, because he knows that money may destroy kinship and harmony among them. We have after that, why was he awarded the prestigious King Faisal International Prize? Actually, there are 4 reasons. We can see that in recognition of his outstanding service to Islam. This is number 1. His role in the establishment of the world's largest Islamic bank and his ongoing contribution to charities. These are 2 and 3. Number 4, humanitarian projects fight against poverty. So he did all these things that made him deserve this prize. Then he wanted to gain 2 things. Sheikh Sulaiman Rajhi, at the end of everything, he gave his wealth, he did everything because he wanted to gain 2 things. Gave away to gain. What did he want to gain? You will see it at the end. To gain peace of mind and inner happiness. The noun of poor is, as we said, poverty. And was he poor? We understand from the beginning that yes, he was. There was a time that he was very poor. So after our reading part, you have the questions that you have in the page 27. Now, basically, all of these questions, we did answer them in the reading parts, in the tables, except one, which is number 4. So number 4 is your assignment. What is notable about Sulaiman al-Rajhi in comparison to other wealthy businessmen? So there are many other businessmen that were wealthy, they were well known, but Sheikh Sulaiman al-Rajhi, he was different. Why? You have to think about it. What makes him different? What makes him unique? What makes him special from other businessmen? And you have another assignment, which is to organize al-Rajhi's most important achievements according to the timeline. So we mentioned a lot of things. Just go back and organize your thoughts. What did he do? These are 8 steps that you can follow. This, plus this, plus this, all of these things that Sheikh Sulaiman al-Rajhi did, you can organize them, which is your assignment in addition to number 4. So this is our lesson about Sheikh Sulaiman al-Rajhi. Now first we explored his history. We analyzed the things that he did. We also listed his accomplishments. And we evaluated at the end, what did he gain? What did he want? Now we mentioned from the beginning of Unit 2, a lot of businessmen. They, like for example, Amancio Ortega. We said also Mohammed Abdul Latif Jamil. We also said Stephen Jobs. There was the Chinese businessman, which is Li Ka-shing. We have, of course, Sheikh Sulaiman al-Rajhi. And also tomorrow, we have another character that we will write about this time, or he is going to be our model for this. But the thing that joins them all together, that they were businessmen that started from rags to riches. So for the next lesson, do your assignment and we'll complete.